All right, everybody, welcome to Recovery Sports Grill. This is our weekly show. This is our second week here in Colony. We got 2 weeks left here before the month ends. This is Barstool Banter. I'm here with my host for the night, Chris Honorado. Chris is with Channel 13, WNYT. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, John. How are you, man?
Good. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks. I know, it's been a few weeks, but good to be here. I think this is maybe the second time I think I've been at the Colony location for Barstool Banter. First time we had Siena men's basketball team, so that'll tell you how long ago that was. A few months now.
Yeah, it was. That was actually right before Siena. I remember it was going down to play at the Garden against Iona.
Right.
Let's not talk about that.
That one did turn out too well.
So, for those of you who haven't been here before for one of our shows, the way the show works, Chris and I will talk a little sports for the beginning. We do have a guest interview tonight. Ray Brownell is in the house. Ray is our local NFL sports agent. So Ray will come up and talk a little preseason football coming up, training camp coming up soon. So we have that, and then the last part of our show we'll do some ranting, where you as a customer has the opportunity to come up, get on the microphone, talk to Chris or I about some kind of sports topic. There's a lot to talk about.
We got a lot going on.
And we'll pick the top couple ranters and give away some prizes. So right here I have a pair of tickets, Yankees-Braves for Tuesday night next week. These are field level seats, and that'll go to first place tonight. So make sure you sign up to rant, and you might go home with Yankee tickets.
Now let me ask you, let's just give some people out there some ideas. What are potential ranting subjects tonight? We talked about, if you happen to listen to Jim Rome's radio show, David Stern, the NBA commissioner, was on yesterday with him. Jim Rome asked him, was the NBA draft lottery rigged so that the formerly NBA-owned New Orleans Hornets got the #1 pick, which they ended up getting instead of the Charlotte Bobcats, which had the best chance to get. Stern went absolutely off on Rome and was not very becoming of a commissioner of a professional sports league. So we got that. U.S. Open just started today. Tiger is in the hunt, if you will.
Yeah, second place, three shots back to the lead, yeah.
Had a perfect game in baseball last night. Maybe some people out there have an idea as to why we're seeing more perfect games, more no-hitters, maybe without steroids in the game. Your boy, R.A. Dickey,
close to my heart,
is 10-1. He is by far and away, in my opinion, the leader for the NL Cy Young at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you got to say he's not only the best pitcher in the National League right now, he's the best pitcher in baseball.
Wow.
I mean, David Price was the best pitcher in the American League this year, and what happened to him?
Yeah, I mean, at the current time, sure, yeah, I guess he is. Yankees are red hot. They've won 16 of 20. They just had back-to-back sweeps.
For those of you who don't know, Chris is a Braves fan. I'm a Met fan. So we need somebody to come in, and hopefully you Yankee fans will get to see them knock off the Nationals this weekend, because that'll help us out.
We need a sweep of the Nats, because clearly John's Mets and my Braves are not going to do it on our own, unfortunately. And NFL minicamps are going.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
And then we can't forget about the NBA Finals, of course. Right. Game 2 coming up at 8:30 tonight.
Who doesn't like to rant about LeBron James? I mean, someone out there will rant about LeBron James.
I think the only person we had more rants on were Tim Tebow last year.
Yeah, I believe that, and I'm not a LeBron hater. Are you? Are you rooting for the?
No, I'm not a LeBron hater. However, as a Knicks fan, growing up a Knicks fan, I hated all those Heat teams with Hardaway and Mourning and So those, I still have a distaste in my mouth for the Heat. So.
Look, I mean, it's hard not to like the Thunder. You know, Durant and Westbrook are so good and so young, and I want, honestly, I hate to give this kind of answer, but I hope it goes 7 games. You know, it should be a really good series. It's been built up so much, and there's been so much anticipation and hype that hopefully it goes the distance, 7 games, and if it does, you got to give OKC the advantage with home court, right?
Yeah, home court for the last 2, because the NBA is 2-3-2.
Yeah. So it'll be better.
And then I don't know, there might be, I've seen in the restaurants in the last couple of days a lot of soccer fans. Not that I can comment too much about it. I did see that Italy actually tied today against, I believe it was Croatia, which was, I mean, just highlights from the first half. Italy had 1 million scoring chances, scored 1, and gave up 1 in like the 71st minute. So I mean, that's not very good. Italy's one of the best teams in the world every year. And, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of soccer, but anytime there's a big international event like the World Cup, like the Euro Cup, I get into it because they're a really big deal all the way around the world,
Yeah, and this is leading up to the Olympics, so a little preview for you soccer fans of what you might see in the Olympics. Unfortunately, the U.S.
I was going to say, no U.S. in the Euro Cup and no U.S. in the Olympics.
You got to pick if you have a nationality of a team that's there. Like I'm Italian, I'll root for Italy.
I'm with you there. With you there, definitely. What do you think about your? I haven't talked to you since my Devils knocked out your Rangers.
Oh boy.
Now we're just going to leave it at that because the Devils got absolutely smoked in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final.
6-1. How about that? Well, let me ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that call that gave the Devil or the Kings those 3 goals, the 5-minute major?
It was a stupid penalty. I think you had to make the call. It's a stupid penalty.
Yeah.
The puck is no longer there. I know you're going full speed, but the other guy is stationary for the most part. You have to find a way to not squarely hit him the way Steve Bernier did. You just can't do it. You give him 3 goals in 3 minutes of a 5-minute major. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean after that the game
it was over. It was over, and it was over. You go down 3-0 like that on somebody else's home ice. Forget it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Kings kind of came out of nowhere this year. I know they got a lot of guys back towards the end, and Jonathan Quick was just...
They made some good trades at the deadline. They changed coaches halfway through the year. Really, the second half, Los Angeles Kings, completely different team than the first half. They were able to get into the playoffs as the 8, and look, we've seen it. You have the Kings as an 8 seed. You have the Cardinals, who just barely got into the playoffs on the last day of the regular season. In baseball, they win the World Series. You have the Giants, who only got in on the last day again of the regular season. They go on and win the Super Bowl. So as long as you get in, if you're a team equipped and hot at the time for the playoffs, you have as good a chance as anybody.
Yeah, I think that just shows the hot team going into the playoffs, the team that's on a run and catches the 8-9 or 6, 7, 8 seed down there has just as good a chance as the best team. The Rangers were the best team in the East all year, and they couldn't get by the Devils. So.
I mean, we're going to have one league with a champion. That's the NBA, where quote unquote it's a legitimate champion. From wire to wire, from the beginning of the season to the end, they were championship contenders. The Heat and the Thunder. You wouldn't say that about any of the other leagues, the Giants, the Cardinals, or the Kings.
And even that, I mean, interesting. We haven't talked about this either. Was the last series, Oklahoma City getting by San Antonio. San Antonio won 20 consecutive games, including the first 2 against Oklahoma City. So you have to consider them the favorite to win, and then they lose 4 games in a row.
Well, when they won their 20th straight and they were up 2-0 on OKC, I remember people saying, "Oh, they may just sweep through the playoffs." I mean, and then you lose 4 straight. So anything can turn. You're right. The Spurs were probably the favorite, but everyone considered OKC still at least a contender. It just goes to show you. I mean, you don't, and this is why I love sports. This is the true reality TV.
All right. Well, I know Ray's going to come up shortly, but before he comes up, I just want to give him a shout out. Ray has an organization that he works with, the charity First and Goal Foundation, and they're actually going to have, if there's any Jet fans in the house, the Jets fullback, Terminator, John Connor, is going to be up in Albany, actually on Wolf Road over the Holiday Inn, Saturday, doing autograph signing from 1 to 4. And then he's also going to be available for a VIP dinner, which is limited to 100 people.
Yep.
The dinner is $125, but it all goes to his First and Goal Foundation. He can come up and talk a little bit about that in a minute, but I just wanted to get it out there. So if there are any Jet fans in the house, I'm not, but my brother's a diehard Jet fan.
Same with my brother, yeah.
And autographs $25 each, and the dinner $125. So all for a good cause, and Ray will talk more about that. But
yeah, no, it's a great look.
And we were talking about, it's not very common that you get a Jet in the Albany area. It's a Giant or it's a Yankee.
Right.
And as a Met fan, I try to get a few retired Mets to come to town. But, for the most part, it's the Giants that get all the pub.
Yeah, exactly. So again, if you're a Jets fan, this is Jets. And the cool thing I think about it, and we'll talk to Ray about this, but to me, the VIP meet and greet, it's going to be an intimate atmosphere. It's limited to 100 people. and you get a chance to ask Connor. I mean, I'd have 100 questions for him. What's it like to play for Rex Ryan? What has the Tebow experience been like so far? How is this offense going to change now with Tony Sperano being the offensive coordinator? I would guess you're going to see Connor lined up in the backfield a lot more now. I would assume the Jets will run the ball a lot under Sperano. So it's a great opportunity to just kind of kick back and have an opportunity to meet, but actually really talk to an NFL player.
Yeah, well, we'll get a little more on that in a few minutes, and Ray's been big on bringing other athletes to town. It was Ray who brought Hakeem Nicks up. What was it? The weekend before the Super Bowl.
Right.
So Ray's got some pretty big clients, and he brings them to shares them in the Albany area, which is great.
Yeah, it's fun to follow Ray, and J.R. Rickard is another business partner with J.R. Sports Enterprises. And it's fun to follow them draft time, especially to see, if one of their players doesn't get drafted, that's when it gets really interesting, because then it's making the phone calls to teams to try to fit them in as an undrafted free agent, what team is the best fit, who needs a quarterback, who needs a wideout, tight end, that sort of thing. And so it's kind of fun to watch them work the phones, and you get an inside look at how guys really hook on to teams. And we've seen over the last few years that undrafted free agents play really big roles in playoff team success. And just speaking as a Packers fan, Sam Shields was a cornerback, undrafted out of the University of Miami, had a great postseason with the Packers, and was really good and instrumental in their Super Bowl win as well.
Yeah, I'm going to also throw one more Packer at you, who's actually a dear friend of mine, is Ryan Grant.
Absolutely.
Another undrafted.
A dear friend of yours.
Yeah, Ryan and I grew up together. Played high school football together, played CYO basketball together.
Did you go to Bosco?
No, Ryan transferred to Bosco.
Okay.
He went to Clarkstown South and then transferred to Bosco.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. As a Packers fan and a Notre Dame fan, Ryan Grant has always been a guy I followed his
He's
career.
actually the reason I became a Notre Dame fan. believe it or
Really?
not, yeah.
How about that? I don't know if he'll be back with the Packers. But.
Actually, I spoke to him recently. He was talking to the Lions and the Patriots. So,
Okay.
we might see him in New England. Who knows? They did just steal one of my guys, but
What do you think about that?
who knows? He does some goofy things over there in New England, Belichick. I mean,
I filled in for Roger this morning, and as I cut you off here, I filled in for Roger this morning. We had Dave Goldberg on from the Washington Post, and we asked Dave, I said, are you surprised the Giants let him go? And two, are you surprised Belichick picked him up? He said yes on both fronts. He was surprised Belichick picked him up because many times a team will release a player who would otherwise go to injured reserve and then add him later so that his number doesn't count against the cap. And there is usually sort of an understood agreement amongst coaches that, okay, they're doing this for that reason, we're not going to pick him up. And Belichick and Coughlin are friends. They consider each other to be very good friends of one another, and so this is kind of an interesting move.
yeah, I mean, I can't really see any other reason. I mean, he's hurt right now. Any other reason besides kind of getting under their skin a little
Right, he's
bit?
not going to play this year. The Patriots are loaded at tight end.
Right, what do you need a tight end
Maybe we'll
for?
get Ray's take on all that, how that went down, and what he thinks the Pats are actually trying to accomplish there.
All right, well, let's take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll bring up Ray, get some good back and forth with Ray in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Remember, sign up to Rant. There are good prizes at the end, especially Yankees, Braves. Because I'm a Braves fan, I may have to enter the Rant also. So bring your game. I'm looking at you, Scott.